Huggers, that's right, Game Huggers, and Esteban is here. And he came in just in the nick of time. As you can see, we've got Josh as a lumberjack, we've got Sarumaru with red hair, and we've got a picture of something that is voiced by Opethian.
How's it going?
And I think Josh went silent.
No, I'm in shock.
Lumberjack heaven?
Oh, I'm shocked because you totally stole my thunder, man. I have this awesome intro planned, and now my intro's fucked. Thanks, man.
Damn.
I know. Well, you know what? It comes from playing this game called Lords of Thunder. And I'll tell you something. You'll learn a lot about stealing thunder that way. And using water armor.
Unacceptable. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. I'm not dressed as a lumberjack. It's literally cold down here, so I'm just bundled up. This is just...
Now, excuse me while I take Babe the Blue Ox to the other room and we get started.
You are ridiculous. Wow.
You do, I'm going to be honest, you really do resemble a lumberjack, even though you might not be trying to emulate a lumberjack. You really do look like a lumberjack.
Well, if I were
to put scribble knots and type in the word lumberjack, you would show up.
I was thinking the guy from Duck Dynasty.
Jesus Christ, you guys suck. You all are jerks.
I would never go so low as to link to the Duck Dynasty.
Hey, it's big. It's big down here.
That beard is getting pretty unruly.
Well, it's coming off. It's coming off pretty soon. So, yeah, thanks. This is awesome. I love the critique of my clothing. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this week on the Game Huggers podcast, where we're going to tell me that I look like a lumberjack. If I were a lumberjack, I think I would hope my first name was Jack, so that I could be called Lumberjack Jack. That would be awesome.
Well, you know what really adds to the whole thing, and I'm going to drop this because there's no need to keep going on, but
yeah,
you have a very rustic decor. You have that natural, knotty pine or whatever it is, or oak, whatever it is back there.
Yeah, there's some nice looking. Yeah, I got some pretty sweet looking, all natural wood entertainment center with the doorways that open up to the TV. You can see. You can kind of see the TV a little bit, but that's actually yeah. Well, you can't really see what's on the screen. Dan was trying to guess what game was playing in the background.
I see stars right now. Let's see.
There's a planet and there's some other cool stuff.
It's a Saturn game.
That's Sim Earth. Pretty sure it's Sim Earth.
Ooh, you're pretty much
Super Nintendo Sim Earth.
It is not Sim Earth for the Super Nintendo, but you're really close. You're really close. It's actually a new game that I just got in the recent pickups. In my recent pickups, it's called Linkle Liver Story.
Oh yeah,
for the Sega Saturn. It's actually really cool. And it's interesting. I think it's like an interesting little piece of English there.
Yeah,
because I think they intended
say river and not liver.
I think it was Wrinkle River Story. Even I think the whole thing was supposed to
maybe.
be.
I don't know.
I had you guys are probably right. I was going to go with like Twinkle Star or something, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Twinkling liver.
Well, here, let me really quickly go through and do introductions because, Dan sort of did the introductions already. But hey, welcome to the Game Huggers podcast. We're always on Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, right? Yeah. And, thank you guys so much for joining. We've already got a few viewers, so hopefully we'll be able to get right into the swing of the action this week. We have an amazing panel of expert gamers. Maybe I should have said that, but really cool group guys, and I want to introduce each one of them now. So Opethian, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, I made it.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Very, very mysterious individual there.
So tell me where this picture is from. What is this exactly?
It's from Casher. You never seen that?
Did you say
the live action? The live action. That's a great movie. I thought so.
What movie?
Cashern.
Well, I'm just gonna think it's Mortal Kombat. That's a character from Mortal Kombat, an unlockable.
It sounded like he said Catherine, like the game Catherine, but in a very Alabama. Hey man, it's from Catherine, man.
It's from Catherine. Chainsaws and yeah.
So it's from a movie called Cashew. Well, that's very interesting.
Cashew. Yeah, it's about peanuts.
And
That anime.
I
is
saw
the
that movie.
first
It was nuts.
that sounds good. Actually, I always thought, because you use that same avatar for like the forums and stuff, and I actually thought that screenshot was something from Panzer Dragoon for some reason. I don't know why.
Hey, man, you can use your imagination. Let it take you where it wants to go, man.
I just imaginate Panzer Dragoon. Anyway, and also returning to the podcast is Saru Maru. Hi, welcome back, buddy.
Thanks. It's been a while.
The creator of the FX Yuki game that is about to hit the shelves.
Yes, very, 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 very soon.
We may have to chat a little bit about that and how the name change went from Booby Central USA to FX Yuki. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's not cool, but the end result was cool.
Yeah, it looks great. I love the name. So, also coming back once again, Esteban Lagraphics. Hello,
How
sir.
you doing?
Thank
How
you.
you doing? So I know you guys, you Yankees, are going to get this wrong, but it's Esteban. But that's okay.
Esteban. That's what I've been saying.
Esteban.
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 Esteban. So the accent is on, or the accentuation is on the second syllable, but it's okay because you gringos are just going to have to practice. All right? Esteban.
What is it? What's the origin?
I'm Ukrainian, so I'm not really Spanish, but it's just Steven in Spanish.
So you could still get deported? Is that what I'm hearing?
I can. Especially my politics. I would totally. I'm on a list, and I'm sure they're trying to figure out a way to send me off.
Esteban. All right, Esteban Love Graphics. And of course, our resident pun master, Dragon Master Dan, is back once again. Hi, Dan. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Spectacular, actually. It's been good. Anything new with you, sir?
Not a whole lot until we get into the actual discussions, but let's bring up the first topic unless anyone has any objections.
God damn it. I'm the segue guy. I am the segue
Whose
guy.
show is this, anyways?
Josh, you are totally incidental to this. So
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Dan, just go ahead and take it away, you dipshit.
All right. So the first thing is, what has everyone been playing lately?
Ugh.
Saramaru.
I haven't really been playing a whole lot. I haven't really had a whole time to play.
unacceptable.
I've been buying games. I just haven't been playing them.
Yeah.
And when I do play, I play PC Engine stuff. So right now, the only thing that I played most recently is Mad Stalker. On the PC Engine.
I didn't get
Good
too far in that. I have to. That looks like a great game. Everyone talks positively about it. I got to a point and I got stuck. I don't even know how far I got into it, but
it's hard. It's like platformer meets, or like beat 'em up meets like fighting game kind of, because you have like actual like inputs that you have to put in to do moves. So it's really cool.
I would say that what we need to do is kind of not just promote that game, but I have to figure out how to play it. And then we need to, like, I think with folks just had a really simple, accessible guide. This is like one of those little gems that
I'm doing
so
a video
few
on
people check out.
I'm doing a YouTube video on that game. And that's actually why I'm playing it.
God damn, that's going to help me. So thank you.
But that's it.
All right.
That's it as far as what I'm playing.
So next up, let's go to you, Esteban.
Yeah, so, okay. A whole bunch of random stuff, but specifically, and this is maybe you're going to find this amusing, it was freezing in New York City, and it was at night, and I was looking out. Now, I live in Jersey, but it was nighttime in New York City, and it was freaking gorgeous. But I was freezing, but I didn't want to go inside, so I was staying out, looking at the skyline, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I was reminded of what? Vigilante. And
I was going to say 9/11. So.
No joke. And here's a game, and I guess I should give a little backstory. I got TurboGrafx 16 when it was released, but I had to save up Christmas money with my brothers. So technically, I got it right after Christmas. And what was one of the first games we bought? Vigilante, because it looked cool. And I'm going to be honest, I thought it was a lackluster, mediocre game back in the day. And I held that for decades. And then in chatting with folks, someone, I think it was Karanu or whatever, an elder, he was telling me about how much he loved that game and it was fun. And I was like, you're an idiot. And then slowly, because he always promoted it and said, you're a bastard, you got to give it another chance. I gave it another chance many, many years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I love this game. So I have done like a complete, reversal on this game, and I really enjoy it now. And it's like a easy pickup game. It plays great on the Turbo Express as well. So that is the most recent game I've been playing, and my kids are a little frustrated because in that game, if the enemies get too close, one dude strangles you, you get stuck, and my kids don't know what to do. And I'm like, just bash things and move back and forth on the controller and you'll break free. But they don't quite understand how to break free, so they're a little frustrated.
That was actually my first 2-card game.
See, there you go. Did you have the PC engine or you had the US version?
The US version. I started with the TurboGrafx.
Yeah.
And, Keith Courage and Vigilante were like my only 2 games for the longest time.
Yeah. So I just want to say for people out there who think that Vigilante's trash, it really isn't. And there's actually some wonderful things in that game, like the nunchaku, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but the nunchucks, as I used to say when I was a kid.
Nunchucks.
Yeah, nunchucks.
Nunchucks.
You can vary the speed of them. So if you slowly hit it, it's slowly spinning them, and if you just quicken the pace manually, it spins faster. So there's like just that aspect alone. I'm like, I love this little detail. There's a lot of things like that. I'm not going to get into it. It's a clunky game in some ways, but I don't care. Anyway. And it's also the gritty New York City that I love.
The subway levels.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously named after the popular restaurant. In any event, Opethian, what have you been playing?
I got Rabio Lepus special for Secret Santa.
Yeah, so you're punching in that game and everything? Like I haven't fully figured out the best way to go about that game.
It's weird. It wasn't what I was expecting. It's
really hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, and there's a punching mechanic. Like if you get close, like a melee, and I haven't really quite figured it out. So
you know what it's very similar to, right? It's very Lords of Thunder. If you think about it, it is.
Is it? Okay, convince me. Tell me why.
Because it's a shoot 'em up where you're running in a side scrolling, and if you get too close to the ground, he starts walking or running, just like in Lords of Thunder, and you attack. And you attack if
just
a character.
Like Space Harrier.
Sure.
You know what? Heavy Unit does that too.
There we go.
Heavy Unit. There's and I think you might have to transform a little bit, or
like robot or tank on that
one. A little
one.
robot and can run a little. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, Rabiolepus is very tough. I enjoyed it though. I think it's a pretty good game, but it is pretty tough.
Yeah, and I've been playing Airzonk with my kid because she actually likes that game. So
nice.
Trying to get her to obey more.
Yeah, Airzonk's a great game. It's a tough. I think it's a tough game. My kids get frustrated way too quick.
Well, that last boss rush can be tough, but yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's kind of forgiving unless you play on the spicy mode. I guess it could be pretty tough.
Spicy.
Yep.
It's a little
habanero.
It's like a hot pepper.
Yeah, I mean, if you have them play Super Airzonk, they'll think it's easy. So
it's the Rockabilly edition. So.
The ending music is the only good thing about Super Airzonk. When the game over screen, that's like the best part of the game.
Super Airzonk to me is not a bad game. It's just a very ungrateful sequel to Airzonk. It's basically a slow-moving, less interesting Airzonk.
Very uninspired game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If it was called something else and you didn't have these expectations that it was an Airzonk or whatever.
See, I always feel like the game was something else originally, and then they were like, "Oh, this CD Denjin got popular," and they just like sprite swapped a bunch of shit just to make it like
shove it on a CD.
Like, yeah,
mm-hmm.
I feel like it was made by a D team who had limited RAM capability to be able to do this, and were told, "Okay, we want you to poop out a sequel in 12 months," and they said, "Okay, we can reuse this sprite work. What do we want to do for level design?" I don't know. We could do different transformations. Okay, what do you got?
Elvis.
A
painting. Elvis, and it just kind of went from there. It's just like, uh-oh.
I think I was going to say, is all the budget went into the soundtrack possibly? I don't know.
Probably.
The music isn't even as good as the first game. It's just Red Book audio.
Yeah.
So, but that's not a bad game either. In any event, let's move over to Josh. Josh, what have you been playing lately besides Linkle Liver Story?
Linkle Liver story. Okay, so a couple things actually. 2 weekends ago was a local local game convention called EverCon, and I was actually able to play a few games. I run the retro gaming area at the show, so I had to like basically set up and run stuff all weekend. But I got to play a lot of like classic games. I got to play some Pac-Man and some Dig Dug on a cocktail machine that we brought in. I also got to play through roller games on the NES. I'm weird with that game. Like I really enjoy the game. It's like most people
It's an awesome pinball table.
Pinball table. What you talking
Yeah,
about?
there's a roller games pinball table. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Really? Oh, okay.
Talking about roller games, the NES game. Anyway, I played through it. It's a lot of fun.
So I really haven't played that. So you're saying I should check out. I love the NES, so I should check out.
I would say check out roller games. So basically, it's a little bit of Skate or Die too.
Is it by Ultra Konami? Whatever.
It is.
Okay.
It is, and it's a little bit. It's a little bit of Double Dragon because
I played a little bit of that back in the day, but thanks for reminding me. I never really dug into it.
And it's a whole lot of like Turtles 2 and Turtles 3 with I think a little bit more strategy and some actual like obstacles that you have to go through instead of it just being a straight up beat 'em up. There's like tons of like Battletoadsy like obstacles and stuff. I think it's fun. The control's terrible. The challenge is really high. But like the music and the graphics are really good, so I enjoy it.
If it's Konami, it's got awesome music.
Was it high enough to recommend to OSG?
Oh my god. Huh. Otherwise, the game convention itself, I actually got to play a whole shitload of board games all weekend, and that was like the biggest surprise because I haven't really had a chance to just sit down and play like tabletop games with friends and stuff lately or in years. So it was like a lot of fun to play that, and I'm looking at a phone right here because I actually took pictures of some of the games we played. So if you guys are into board games at all, I played Sheriff of Nottingham with some friends. I actually picked that up along with a Japanese game called Hanabi where you make fireworks and present them, and whoever has the most beautiful looking firework wins. Also a couple board games that I brought were Food Fight, which is a lot of fun, and then one that I wanted to mention. Where is it? Oh my god. Oh, the King's Vineyard.
King's Vineyard.
Yeah, it's really awesome actually. So you're in charge of like this vineyard, and you have vines of grapes that you're growing, and you're flipping over cards, and you get all these things, and it's like, oh, I'm growing them, and now I'm harvesting them, and now they're wine and all this stuff. But randomly, every once in a while you're flipping through the deck, the king will come, and he needs to come and view your vineyard. And when he comes and views your vineyard, it's like, well, do you have all of these vines with beautiful grapes on them, or are you harvesting and they're all bare? So you get all these bonus points, and if the king's impressed by your vineyard, you get bonus points. And so finally, by the time you get through the deck, you'll get to the third time the king will come and view your vineyard. And if you wind up not being ready, or it's really like about timing and stuff. So it's a lot more fun than it sounds. It's awesome when you have like 4 players. It's really fun because then you're just
Can I just say, I can't believe I'm saying this, but of all the things you mentioned, that's the one that intrigues me the most because it's preposterous. It's totally ridiculous. I'm like,
it is.
I had the exact opposite reaction, Esteban, when he's describing this. I'm like, so was it in the board game section marked BORED?
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
It's really fun though, and it's a quick game. It's like 20-25 minutes. And you just keep going through until the king comes and views your things 3 times, and then at the end you like add up all your points, and whoever's got the most wins. So you get points for making wine, you get points for having the most beautiful vines when the king comes, and you get points for having like a lot of random things. Like if you're able to somehow get a hand of all the same color grapes, so there's like green, yellow, red, purple. If you can have like a whole 5 vines full of all purple, and they're all the same length when the king comes, it's like freaking Yahtzee rolling all 6s. It's like
I know why I love this. I know why I love this. All these other games, the usual formula is you must destroy the enemy. You must build up and powerful. It's so masculine and macho and building empires. And here you are enthusiastically going on and on about the color of the grapes. And like, oh, what sweet, beautiful, product will be created at the end. And all of these things matter. And I love it. And then the king coming in, this is not about the king trying to rally troops and armies and support to go vanquish a mutual enemy. No, this is about this wine is quite good. I am quite pleased. You know, I love that. So it's this totally other kind of like silly, shall we say, trivial side to being a king, but I love it. So you sold me. Not that I'm going to go out and buy it, but given a chance to play it, I'm going to play this damn game. So.
Awesome. It's fun. It's fun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've gotten recently. Actually, I'm still not even unpacked from EverCon yet, and we're going to be doing some inventory of the game stuff, the library, sometime soon. And once I do that, it's going to be a big mess in here. But yeah, that's about all I got going on. Thanks for asking, Dan.
You're welcome. So I played a few games recently. First off, and I admittedly will buy brand new sports games and play them. I've been playing NBA 2K18 on PS4. But besides that, because nobody wants to fucking hear about it, I've also been playing Raisin Bar 3, which I managed to beat. I believe it was Monday.
Hey, Raisin Bar 3 is pretty tough. It's easier than 2.
So
right?
the
2 is
it's
tough.
easier than 2. But the really cool thing about Raisin Bar 3 is the level design. The first level, you're defending a big ship that's getting hit, and you have to blow all the stuff off of it and then go out and kill an enemy ship as the boss. Second level, you're underwater, and there's different physics. There's weird video filters that give you a water effect. The game controls differently when you're in and out of the water. The third level gives you a different viewpoint, so you're almost supposed to be going sideways. There's a boss battle that involves ricocheting enemy attacks. There's a level that goes backwards. Really cool, interesting stuff for a PC Engine shooter. I personally think it's my favorite PC Engine shooter of all, and that's a huge compliment.
This is why it's $130.
Data West right now are pleased to hear that endorsement.
They're not in business, and you know it. But nonetheless, it's actually a really, really great game. And I think just with the innovative things it does is basically, here's what regular shooters do. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to throw everything out of the way, and every level has a gimmick. That's really, really cool about it. And the game looks great. The sound effects are a little bit annoying. The ship firing sound is irritating as hell. The music is great. Overall, it's a fantastic game. And quite frankly, it's right there with Gate of Thunder or Nexter or Lords of Thunder. For me, it is one of the best shoot 'em ups on the PC Engine, and I've had a lot of fun playing it.
That's pretty high praise, man. That's awesome.
Hype.
But by the way, just on a side note, the pronunciation of the game, I always remember the old Turbo Duo Power videos, and they would say and coming soon, and a bunch of games that never come out. Dangerous Dimension, Raisin Bar 3. And so, but everybody seems to just call it Raisin Bar.
Well, it's an ongoing joke. In one of the games, in the opening, you hear the staff, and they're laughing. It's clearly, it's meant to be humorous. And they're like, yeah.
They're all drunk.
Yeah, they're drunk. And
that's because they were playing that wine growing game, the grape growing game, and then they go record that.
Too soon, Dan.
Dan, I'm a little surprised. You said you were playing NBA 2K18.
18, yes.
Unacceptable.
You got it on the PS4 instead of the Switch. Why is that?
Well, for one thing, there is a physical PS4 version that's sold in America. On the Switch, I think they made physical copies in Europe.
No,
and
we got physical versions here too.
No, there weren't. There was a download code.
Dan, I have the game, NBA 2K18. It was at Walmart of all places.
When did you get it?
Right away, and it's $39.99 now. Everywhere.
From what I recall, that wasn't initially sent out. It was a download code only, and you would get the pre-release. Do you physically have it? I'm now really fucking curious.
Yes, I posted pictures of it on my Instagram. You can check me out on Instagram at Joshua Turbox.
Seamless promo.
Yeah.
Lumberjack Josh at
so yes, the game, I can go take a picture of it at the store when I go. I'll go right now. I'm going right now. God damn it.
Do it. Right now.
I'm not really.
Prove it.
But no, yeah, it's one of those weird things. From what I remember when it first came out, there was not a physical release version of it on a card sold in North America. They would sell you.
Well, you are full of shit. It's just like every other game. It's everywhere. Yeah. Just like the WWE 2K18 that's on its way out, or it is out, or whatever. You must be misinformed, like usual.
Smoking crack.
I don't even play sports games, so.
Yeah, sports games are stupid. The only game
that's the music in those NBA games.
They do.
Is there?
They licensed some
There's a
stuff,
lot
so
of
you'll
licensed
hear.
music in that shit.
Yeah, so you'll hear
Yeah.
like, "All ready for this?" You know, things like that.
Every sports game ever.
I played a lot of. Speaking of sports games, I actually did play a lot of NBA Jam Tournament Edition
Yeah.
on the Atari
That's
Jaguar.
cool, though.
On the Atari Jaguar last.
Well, you lost me at Jaguar, but the
I've never
NBA
played that
Jam
version.
games are good.
It's like weird. The music is not very good, but the graphics and the controls and everything are just fine. Other than the fact that you're using a Jag controller.
That's
pretty
a
rough.
handicap.
It is. It really is.
It
That
has the
controller
scaling of players as you get closer or further from the screen, which a lot of the other versions didn't. Like the Genesis and Super Nintendo versions couldn't do that,
What did you just do?
but the 32X one could.
What did
Can't buy a bucket.
So, Josh, I sent you 2 images. I don't know if you had the ability to put them up, but it's Raisin Bar 2 and Raisin Bar 3 photos, very special ones. But I don't know if you can.
I'll try. Ooh, here we go. Let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I can do.
Does that mean there's going to be a Ladoodle raisin bar in the future?
Oh, there absolutely is.
Yes.
I have this long list.
Can you see my? Can you see my picture? There it is.
Yeah.
Raisin Bar 2. With
secrets.
some secrets
Yeah.
of Raisin Bar 2.
And I don't mind saying this, but that's the deodorant I use. I've been using it for I guess my whole life almost. I used to use some Manly deodorant back in the day, and then I switched to Secret at some point.
And this
So,
is Raisin Bar 3 with
There
a
you
few
Samba.
with
liquid beverages on the side.
some girly
Liquid
drinks.
courage.
So
Yeah.
what is the secret behind using Secret, Esteban?
Oh, I just needed something that matched that color palette. So if you look at, I think it's a pretty cool cover there, and I was like desperate, in the house. I was like, God damn, what kind of goes with this? And a lot of, I'm really motivated by color palettes and stuff like that. And I don't always have to do it, but I like when I can try to match similar palette.
Okay, I like it. Okay, and then who's left? Opethian or Saru?
Saru. I think everybody's gone.
Sarah
actually.
was playing Mad Stalker. Oh, this is the recap. Ope was doing Airzon.
Yep.
Dan was playing some bullshit sports game.
Yeah. Who the fuck plays sports games?
Well, I play Taking It to the Hoop.
No, get out of here with that.
Unacceptable also.
To the poop.
Taking it up the poop.
So
Wait, show that again, Saru. What was that?
Fate Extella
Oh, why didn't you get that on the Switch?
for the. I had the Switch one.
You
I
can't
just got
say
this
that.
one. This was like $20.
I'm just like super Nintendo nerd. I'm like, why
I
didn't
bought the Switch one first, actually.
But it was
Oh,
a download code only.
Yeah, it must
No,
have
it
been.
was physical. I don't do download codes. So,
It's for suckers.
what did you guys?
It
Did
is.
anyone pick up anything?
Yeah, I got Link of the Liver story. That's what I got.
I got this for the Switch. Cool.
Ooh, how is that? I'm curious.
Oh, I
It's,
got, yeah,
this is awesome, actually. I wish I'd gotten more time to play it, but it's really awesome. It feels like Mega Man X. And
Did you
this one
play
has both
the
games
characters from
in one?
that Blaster Master game? They had the Gunvolt characters in it.
I did. I love Blaster Master.
Yeah, that was awesome.
GV was a secret character. Who's this guy right here?
Yeah.
Shantae was a secret character. I got her too. And then I think there was one other that I didn't get.
I think you had
That
to pay
game's
for that
awesome.
one.
Yeah. You had to
First
pay
two were
for all
free
of
if you. Yeah, well, the first two
If
were
you
free
get
like
them-
the first week.
Yeah, if you get them
Yeah.
within the first week. I got this for the PC Engine. This
Was
is
that
cool.
Tenchiwo Karu?
Tenshio
Ooh.
Kurao.
Yeah, that's a good game. It's like a
Yeah.
beat 'em up.
Is it-
Yep, that's good. I played this. I played it briefly.
So
It's
isn't
like
that?
Warriors of Destiny or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it looks like Dynasty Warriors or
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's that. It's like the Three Dynasties type thing.
Yeah.
In America, it's called Warriors of Fate.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
it, yeah.
Capcom was, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then my Secret Santa got me this. Fate
Oh, I
Happy
want
Nice Day.
that. I want that.
Dude, that is a fun game.
Yeah, this game is awesome. I used to play the demo of this for
Yeah.
hours.
4-player first-person shooter arena game, well before GoldenEye ever even
Yeah.
fought it. Well before. I mean, the Turbo and the PC Engine, man, it was doing it well before the N64. I don't know what's.
Music is so good in this one too. It's got really good music.
It is. It is. I even enjoy the Super Nintendo version with the Super NES music.
What?
Even knowing it's only 2-player, but
There's a lot of reverb and echo, right?
there better be. If you like
Yeah.
your reverb and echo, there's nothing better than Super Nintendo.
I didn't even know it was on the Super Nintendo. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, it's on the Game Boy too. There was like an 8-player.
I remember the Game Boy port.
Yeah, Baseball was on everything except for the Genesis because the Genesis just couldn't handle it. Really,
it's on the Virtual Boy as well.
Yeah, they didn't, because there were games that looked like it on the Genesis. There's that one Doom clone I can't remember.
Oh, are you talking about? Oh man, it's a good one too. Actually, I really like it. Oh shit!
Yeah, I'm thinking if that was possible, Baseballs would have been possible.
It definitely could.
Baseball is totally possible.
If it was on the fucking Game Boy, it could have been possible.
And it would have been a more extreme version on the Genesis, so whatever.
It would have had a blood code.
Zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. Is that what you
remember that game?
Yeah, Zero Tolerance.
That's a good game. It's got a great soundtrack too. It's a good game.
And I love it. Looks good. Like
the intro is awesome because it's got like this character on the screen, and then it like the graphics like parallax past.
Yeah,
it's like
what's the name of this game?
Zero Tolerance. It's a first-person shooter. It's like a Doom-ish clone, but it's more subtle. So it's got like a lot of just you're wandering around and you can't tell what the fuck to do, and then all of a sudden there's like a bombardment of bad guys, and you're bang bang bang, and then it's like kind of subtle and quiet again, and it's like what's going on?
I don't think I've ever played that.
It's pretty well done, and it also like takes place like in space, like on spaceships and stuff. So you'll be like walking around, and then there'll be this like glass window, and all you see is stars outside. And it's like
I like that. Yeah.
It's pretty well done, and it's cheap. It's like a super cheap game. So, all right. I think that's everybody and their newest pickups. All right. So, okay. Speaking of getting new games and just having a game collection in general, what are some ways that you guys like play games? And what I mean by that is like your gaming habits in general. Yeah, I know. Do you stick with one game for weeks, or do you like change it up and play just an amalgam of different games all the time? Dan, why don't we start with you?
Yes.
So one thing that I have a tendency to do is this: if I have a game that's really, really engrossing,
unacceptable
for most of the time. So if I get a brand new Dragon Quest game or New to Me comes out, I may wind up running off 50, 60 hours in that before I play something else. When Super Mario Odyssey came out, I probably put 10 or 11 hours into that before I played anything else. However, in general, if I'm casually playing a game, I might, say, for example, go to the basement, do laundry, and fire up a Neo Geo fighting game and play that for a little bit. Or, fire up a shoot 'em up or something simple, quick to play, while I wait for other things to happen throughout the day. If I'm dedicated to playing and completing some sort of a game that generally has, more of a quest to it, then, and I'm engrossed in it heavily, I'll usually be dedicated to playing that game until I either get irritated with it or until something else occurs. What about you, Sarumaru?
I used to play games pretty much up until I would finish them, but like lately I find that now I just play like a sprinkling of games wherever I can, only because of like my schedule is just really busy. I usually work like 10 hours a day, and then I do like all the game stuff after work, so it's really hard. The only time I play games is if I do videos for YouTube, and I think my YouTube channel now is just an excuse for me to like play a game so that I can actually justify myself playing it. Oh, well, I'm doing it for YouTube, but that's pretty much the only time I get to actually play games.
I know
what
that
about
feeling,
you,
man.
The bad?
Makes sense. Opethian, what about you?
Whoa.
I thought Staybone was going.
Yeah, Staybone. Well, let's let Ope talk. Ope, you've been so.
I want to hear this mysterious voice.
Yeah, why don't you just tell us about all this time you've been spending
Opie's
with
voice.
I got
with Browning.
No, I don't have time. I usually, my kid plays. I got our DS, so she plays that a lot, and we got a Retro Freak, so I try to, play a lot of games and just see what sticks. So I don't really play a lot of games myself, but me and her play a lot, because she'll get into like Goonies on Nintendo. Like she loves that game. She loves the movie. She likes kind of like Goonies too, but Goonies, the first one, she's like, oh, I can get into this. And
first one is so much fun.
Yeah, Metroid.
The first Goonies is actually really, really cool to play, just to go on a quick kind of side rant, because basically you have to pick up a whole bunch of invisible items that are always in the same place each playthrough. Once like, I need to kick in this invisible space. That'll give me the helmet that will prevent icicles from killing me. Then I get the fire suit, and then the spring boots. And once you have all of this, the game is actually really, really easy to just blow through.
Help me out. I think the Player's Guide, that book that came with some at some point like packed
That had
with the
Goonies
Nintendo.
2 in it.
Oh, that had okay. Because I was gonna say I think it had a guide
So
for one of the
Goonies-
games. Yeah.
So Goonies 1 actually never came out on the US NES.
Japan only.
It came out on those
Gotcha.
Play Choice 10 machines that you would see. So if you go to like a Pizza Hut or an arcade that had a Play Choice 10, you'd find Goonies 1 in there, and it came out on the Famicom. And it came out on a lot of multi-carts. It's a very common game on those, but it wasn't actually a legitimate US release. But it's a really great, fairly simple early Konami game that's, besides the fact that it has that Cyndi Lauper song in NES music format going over and over and over.
I love that.
Yeah.
The chiptune version of it is actually really cool,
It
but
is. I like it better
it
than the real
plays a little
song.
too much. It plays a little too much. I think there's a little bit of variety. I think there's maybe 3 or 4 music tracks in it. The game is
Yeah.
actually really, really well designed for a fairly early, like a 1986
I used to
Famicom
play
game.
that in the arcade so much.
Yeah, me
It's-
too.
That's actually the only way we got to play it, I think, right? Because
Yeah.
it never came out in the US, so arcade only.
Yep. Yeah, I eventually got a multi-cart when I was older that had it, and then eventually I tracked down a real Famicom cartridge of it.
Last
and
week.
He was older
Oh.
last week.
This is true. This is true. I've been traveling through time.
But yeah, so no time, just trying to educate people on what's out there.
Spreading the word. That's good.
There you go, man.
That's your mission. Hey, so I'm in the same boat as Ope. When I do play stuff, usually my kids come over and they want to play it too. So I found myself choosing things that they might not be frustrated by because I do want them to check it out and I don't want them to And so, but I get obsessed. I mean, I'll get obsessed with a game and I'll just like play it for months. I'm not talking about these action role-playing games or role-playing games you guys play. Simple shoot 'em up or a simple platformer, but I'll get obsessed with it. And so recently, my kids had never seen until recently, maybe the last like 3 months, the Sega Master System.
Ooh.
And I got obsessed with stupid Shinobi, and I suck at this game. I've been playing it for years, but I just can't beat it. But my kids are like getting better with it, and that's fun. And also Wonder Boy and Wonder Boy 1, the platformer.
Mm-hmm.
So because again, my kids can. And what else? So anyway, so my habits are I'm totally inconsistent. Sometimes I'll just be obsessed with one game. I will not take it out of the system. It doesn't matter what system it is. Even what is it? I was playing Star Control 2 on. That just stayed in there for 6 months, half a year, and so whenever I played that. It just didn't matter. So that's what
awesome.
Sarah does. I'll just jump randomly from stuff, and there's a weird connection between the games. Like I'll think of another game that it reminds me of, and I'll want to play it instantly. So I'll have to like.
Being an adult is hard.
Yeah. These are first world problems here. What game will I play next?
All of them.
Yeah.
So, Josh, what about you? How do you like to approach your gameplay?
I guess I liked the way that Saru had said it, where he said like a sprinkling of games, because the game libraries that we have are pretty huge, and sometimes it's just hard. It's like you finally get done with work. You get like I'm going back to school now, so I get my homework done, get the kids to bed, and it's like 9:30, 10 p.m. and I'm just like, I go look at the wall of shit on the, I'm just like, where should I even start? And I usually just kind of go to the games that I'm familiar with or the ones that I know I'm good at. Like I'll take Batman on the NES and just do a run through that. Roller games, like I'd mentioned, Battletoads, Ninja Turtles, stuff like that. Castlevania 1, Castlevania 3. Yeah, and of course, a whole shitload of Turbo games that are a lot of fun. But like, it is hard to like focus on just one thing. Esteban had mentioned like taking one game, a new game, especially like when I was a kid, I only got 1 or 2 new games a year. So it was like literally like when I got a game, it was like this investment that it was going to suck, but it didn't matter. It was like the one game I was going to play. I remember on my birthday getting Dick Tracy on the NES, and it's not a very good game, but I played the shit out of it. I got all the way to the end. I beat Big Boy. Sorry, Big Boy.
Pruneface?
Yeah, Pruneface and Big Boy and the whole thing. And anyway, yeah, I remember playing through that, and it's not a very fun game, but I did it, and I have good memories of it. And it's funny because I can put the game in now and still get pretty far in it because I've got like all of the clues and all of the things memorized on where to go. But for new games now, it's kind of hard for me to get started because I purchased probably too many games to keep up with. And so like recently I just got Ys 8. That was something I forgot to even talk about. Ys 8, I got it on the PS Vita.
Why did you get it on the Switch?
I know, right? I know, and I'm pissed off because I just got it. I think
He's gonna get it. Don't worry, he's gonna get it on the Switch.
I'll probably get it on the Switch.
I'm gonna get it on the Switch too.
That box set looks pretty sweet, actually. So
I'm gonna triple dip with that one. So
Wow.
I'm getting the Vita one, and I want to get the Switch one for sure.
Is that legal in Arizona?
just the
Oh, you're in
tip.
Vegas.
Just
So
the
that's
tip.
legal.
I'm in Vegas.
Anything's legal.
It's all good here.
But yeah, and it looks really pretty. I watched the intro. I played a little bit of the beginning of the game. I didn't get very far though. Probably be because I still haven't played through Oath of Felana, and I still haven't even played.
It's so good.
I know I've heard it's really good, and I still haven't played through East Origin, which I just got like 4 months ago on the PS
Also
Vita.
good.
Yeah, I know. So I'm like, got this backlog of games on the freaking Vita. It's like I only have like 5 games, and I still haven't played through any of them yet. So I need to like slow down and just actually play games.
Yeah.
I
I didn't beat Celceta on the Vita yet. And
I
I've
haven't
had
either.
that one forever.
Yeah, same here. I need to just slow down. I need to like just chill out and
Just
find
get more
a-
time, and then
Find-
everything's solved.
So once I invent the 25-hour day, then I'll have that extra hour, and so I can just start doing it then. But yeah, I think my problem is that I just do a sprinkling of games. I grab a couple games here and I play like Saru had mentioned too about using YouTube videos as an excuse to play games. 2 weekends ago before EverCon weekend, I played Mr. Gimmick for a while, and I was like, I should probably do a Till I Die video of this, and so I did. And Till I Die videos are really silly, but they're these super quick and easy videos that I can do because I'm really bad at video games, so it's a real short video to do. They're really short videos to edit, but basically I just play one game on one life and see how far I can get. And there's a couple games, like I think Batman on the NES I played for like 19 minutes, and that's pretty. I was really trying really hard not to die, and I got to like the end of stage 4, maybe the beginning of stage 4. But anyway, so Mr. Gimmick, I got through one stage, and then I think I got to the boss of the second level, and that's where I was done. Like Owl Anonymous would be very disappointed because that guy does like one credit clears all the time on that game. But that was
Speed runs that game.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's played it a few times. So
Maybe twice.
Maybe twice, maybe
most.
3 or 4 times. But
He was here in the basement, and he was getting mad when he'd like get hit once. He's like, "All right, we're gonna reset it again. We're gonna do it without getting damaged."
That's crazy. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I would love to just get one game and just sit down like a good book, and just like focus on that one thing. So like with the Vita,
savor every little moment in it, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, totally. Like with the Vita, it's kind of cool because I keep that in my room, and like, the games aren't exactly the most easiest to get in and out. So I got one game in there, I got the rest of the games down here, and I'm just going to kind of focus on that. So whenever I look over, it's like, oh, there's the Vita. I'm going to turn that on and play it. But yeah, so I can't think of like the last time I really focused on one game that was like really, really lengthy, I think was last year when I played through the first Uncharted game on the PS3, which is funny because I got to play.
It's a good game.
It is a good game. I want to play through the second and the third now, because I haven't played through a lot of like current gen games, which is really funny because like Uncharted is now like 12 years old, but like I consider it new.
No, that's a modern game as far as I'm concerned.
That's exactly.
No, it's a relic. It's a relic, man.
It's a
it's
new
funny.
game to me.
Well, it's funny because those stupid Facebook groups, you see guys jump on and they're like, anybody remember this gem? And it's like Uncharted. And I'm like, this gem, remember it. What the fuck are you talking about? And then I'm like, oh my God.
Like 5 when it came out.
And then I realized I got like gray hairs in my beard, and I'm like, I'm that old man who's like, that's not that old. That's 12 years old. Holy
Let me go on a
shit.
quick rant about people on Facebook and the, hey guys, anybody remember this? I'm on a group that's called something like 90s nostalgia. And literally you get things like, hey guys, anybody remember this guy? And it's like a picture of Barney the dinosaur. Like everybody remembers Barney the dinosaur. Who the hell doesn't remember? Hey guys, anybody remember this guy? And it's Bill Clinton. I mean, like seriously, who doesn't remember these people? The 90s nostalgia group. How can you not know? Hey guys, anybody remember this show? And it's Seinfeld. And you're like, what the hell? And then it gets even like idiots. And it's just like, hey guys, anybody remember this badass? And it's like a picture of Master Chief. Like that's still a thing.
Or they're really young too.
Yeah.
Or they're really dumb.
20 somethings. Well, both.
Why are they in the '90s nostalgia group? What nostalgia do they have?
Because you're intrigued. You're intrigued by the era.
They weren't even born in the
babies.
'90s.
They were babies. You know, these 20-year-olds. They're so cute. I mean, honestly, come on. They just want to learn. They just want to get educated by us. We can't treat them like shit. We just gotta form them. They're clay.
You're half their kid. You're half their parents.
They're clay. Fuck off. They're pieces of clay. We gotta mold them.
They're pieces of something.
When I was a kid, I distinctly remember when I was a kid being intrigued by all the decades before me, but not even knowing where to begin. Yeah. And I think it's so much easier now for folks who are interested in older stuff to at least slowly explore. I wish there was someone to tell me about the music from the prior generations and the pop culture, especially the harder to find stuff. I think my daughter, who's soon to be 14, it is so much easier for her to I love pop culture of all, from trash to beautiful art, and it's so easy to learn about all that. And I think about how tortured I was when I was younger, because it was so tough. When once you found something, you're like, I found it. It was like winning the lottery. I found something great, but at least I found it. And now it's we have an abundance of it. It's too easy.
Well, I mean, one thing that I found, at least in the educational system I grew up in, is that a lot of the people that were teachers when I was growing up were the baby boomers who used to be hippies.
Yes.
So they would constantly tell you about, in my day, man, we had great artists. There was a guy, and he was groovy. His name was Andy Warhol, man. And he painted a soup can. And you're like, what the hell? It's not that impressive.
But
I could go buy a soup can.
So it was cool.
Yeah, but you could even take a picture of it, man, and that's art. And you're like, what the hell? So all of a sudden, your perception of people in the 1960s were idiots. They were painting cans of soup, and it was declared art. And that's and until I got older and got out to the internet and became more cultured, because I was used to dealing with all these damn baby boomer hippies as teachers, I had no idea what actual art was. I don't know. It's not really.
The baby boomers that I ran into actually were more helpful. I'm sorry that you had a bad experience with them, Dan.
It's a Chicago public school system.
I didn't actually grow up in the city, but let me go on one other quick rant about the baby boomers, because I think we've talked about this a little bit, Josh.
This anti-hippie propaganda.
Yes,
I just want to
absolutely.
But go ahead.
So the two most overrated things in terms of artistic significance are both British: Shakespeare and the Beatles. And I could go into
Banksy.
a rant about both of these things. And the short answer is, but specifically I want to talk about the Beatles because we're talking about hippies here. So here's the whole thing. The Beatles weren't bad. They made good music. They were competent at playing their instruments, except for maybe Ringo. But what I was going to say is that their cultural significance and impact has been so greatly overstated by the fact that they were essentially the first boy band that was a cultural phenomenon at a time when television was able to unite not just audio of radio, but video of pop culture fashions and everything else that occurred. And the end result is they're completely overrated by society and by people who try to say every bit of music written since 1963 is influenced by the Beatles. Bullshit. But
I totally agree with you, Dan, and I do believe they're overrated. I happen to like them a lot, but I will absolutely concur and agree. They are overrated. And there's so many other amazing bands at that time that we didn't hear about because they weren't mainstream commercial successes. What are you going to do? I mean, that's the problem with pop culture. It's about making money.
Well, and not only that, but I think more importantly, it's just about being in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
And that's one of those things that cultural significance has and the influence factor is the other thing that really gets on my nerves. Like, oh, the Beatles influenced everything. I really don't think so. I think the Beatles were influenced by things, and things the Beatles took as influences might have influenced some things later. Some things might have been directly influenced by the Beatles, but not everything was directly influenced by it. It'd be kind of a mess, and sometime we'll go on the Shakespeare rant later, but just tied to general hippie philosophies, the Beatles are overrated.
Yeah.
It's because of the Beatles that music exists at all.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, here's like a crazy thing. Like, I'm sure you know this just because we're talking about Beatles and Shakespeare real quick. There are acting classes in colleges that you get credit for that are specifically Shakespearean acting. But some college was offering a goddamn Beatles music course, a course on the history of Beatles music.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's called an easy A.
I mean, it's just, is this really education worthy? That's.
Oh, so okay, so I'll counter that, Dan. Actually, something the analysis that you do can be very intellectually rigorous and like totally
we can analyze
valid.
torque in the same way.
Right, exactly. So the key thing is not what you're studying, but like how seriously do you take it? And you don't have to be pompous about it, but doing a serious intellectual analysis of anything, even garbage, like, you know, just name any Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, or garbage, the band Garbage. It doesn't matter. So, you know, I don't see a problem with a course about the Beatles.
Buffy was a saint. You take that back.
I never watched the show. Disclaimer, I never watched the show. I don't even think I watched like a 10-second clip of it, so I'm ignorant.
I saw the movie
in my pop cultural knowledge.
Quit being so
ignorant.
Played
the board game.
You're being ignorant. Being ignorant.
There's a board game.
There is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer board game.
Yeah, I think I have it. Hey, that's an awesome game. Okay, before we jump onto too long of a rant about music, because I know Dan's a huge Beatles fan. Here's an idea I had. Okay, say you are in a nostalgic 90s or 80s Facebook group. What would be the one thing you would post saying, "Hey guys, remember this gem?"
I'd say, "Kill me now."
I would say, okay, so I'll start. I would say, "Hey guys, remember this show?" And it would be Galaxy High, the 80s cartoon.
Yeah, I saw that. That wasn't a particularly good show, but it was. I remember it was a Saturday morning.
It was a Saturday morning cartoon. Yeah, I loved it. It was actually one of my favorites. It's like, I think like 18 episodes, and I have 2 DVDs of it.
You know what? Oh wow! So like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, I in a dollar store, I picked up a tape, you know, VHS, whatever, and also Spanish language G.I. Joe, but it was like the new G.I. Joe's reboots from many years ago.
Jose?
Computer animated.
Yeah, they were really poorly done. But anyway, Galaxy High, what's funny about that is I was so excited about the G.I. Joe because I hadn't seen them, and they were so horrible. But the Galaxy High, I was like, you know what? This isn't so bad. Also, there was like a laser tag cartoon I picked up. Anyway, whatever. This is all prior YouTube. So.
Yeah, totally. So I'm gonna. You know what? I loved the intro credits for it. It's actually written by someone who did like good music. I don't know who.
The Beatles, probably.
It was probably by the Beatles.
Oh, they're influenced by the Beatles. I mean, that goes
no doubt.
The theme song went like this. Doyle was a high school star. Everybody thought he'd go real far, but he didn't get the things from the classes he took. You know, he just wasn't interested in his books. Amy was the smartest girl at school. Not very popular, not very cool. 2 kids will be chosen from Earth to go to school at Galaxy High. Traveling millions miles through space to go to a school in a far out place. Amy is a sweetheart. Doyle's got a lot to learn here at Galaxy High. Galaxy High.
I almost have the tune. Almost.
Was this a live action show or a cartoon?
No,
it was a cartoon. I thought it was awesome. It was really cool. There was a character that looked like a big chicken, but he was an alien, and he was called Beef. And then there was like the little alien dude who was in love with Amy. He was like a little fluff ball and floating around. It was honestly okay. So like when I was younger, I had seen like glimpses in the video stores and the rental stores of like the laser discs and the CEDs and the VHSs of Heavy Metal the movie, which is a fucking cool. It's amazing. It's a coming of age movie where every boy in his middle teenage years, if you finally see it, it's just like, why is my penis hard? Like, this is amazing. Like, it's so good. And this Galaxy High movie was like this little like preschool Saturday morning version of it. And I love it.
I never put those two together. That's amazing. You made that connection.
It's kind of cool. So that was okay. So that's my hey guys, remember this gem. How about you, Sarah? What would be one 80s or 90s thing that you'd want to say? Hey guys, remember this gem?
Oh man. Well, I grew up watching things like Robotech and Transformers and Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
All animated stuff.
I still hum the Inspector Gadget freaking tune,
I do
man.
too.
Holy cow. It's like
I love that composer.
Shuki Levy.
Chucky Levy, yes. He did Penny's theme song was like my favorite music in that whole show.
So how did Penny's thing go?
Da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na-na.
Yep, that was it. I forget what the name of that was called, but
Penny's theme.
Penny's theme.
it has a name, like an actual name. I don't remember what it was. So
Well, it's French because it was Deke, so it was like Les Roses Penny.
Deke.
yeah, that's probably one of my favorite shows growing up. Was
Which one?
Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
It's a good
For
one.
sure.
It's a good one.
Good one. Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
A good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone remember the Dragon Warrior cartoon? There was a cartoon.
I do. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
Esteban, look. I have a whole. Speaking of which, I'm going to jump ahead and go into mine real quick. I have a huge affinity for some of the early Saban localized anime. One of the shows was called Grimm's Fairy Tale Classics, and it aired on Nickelodeon. And Nickelodeon would basically they were done by, I'd like to say it was like Nippon Animation had done this Japanese anime adaptation of Grimm's Fairy Tales, and Nickelodeon had Saban dub this. These also came out on the VHS tapes. Disney now owns the intellectual property to most of the Saban stuff except Power Rangers. But these were actually really, really well done, reasonably well animated adaptations that were kind of clunky and cheesy in a way, but had a great amount of charm. And I would watch these as like an 8 or a 9-year-old and was thoroughly entertained. But Saban, who did that, which is, by the way, my pick for anybody remember this, also did the Dragon Warrior cartoon Saramaru mentioned, which of course has Akira Toriyama art, looks very similar to Dragon Warrior, and apparently was pulled out of syndication in a lot of, or not Dragon Warrior, Dragon Ball, but was apparently pulled out of syndication in a lot of markets because it was like named the most violent children's show ever.
Really? Wow. I never
They got sponsors to boycott it.
They've never seen South Park.
Well, it hadn't existed
like
yet.
1988.
Yeah, this was around the same time Dragon Warrior 1 came out in the NES. So this was 89 or 90.
And you know, at that time, in the mid 80s, and it probably still, there were organizations like parents and stuff that concerned about the violence and influence. So I can see like being a little dicey.
Well, and this thing wasn't even on a network. It was just on like your local syndicated station. So they'd be like, go to channel 65 and tell them we're not going to buy any Tide until they pull that Dragon Warrior crap off the satanic television.
We're not going to buy any Tide?
Well, your pussy ass
Like 6:30 in the morning.
Sponsors.
Yes, that's what they would do. They'd send their boycott letter, and they get everybody at their church to sign it, and then the station would pull the show.
I just wanted a quick mention here. We got live chatter. There's been some things in here. I just want to mention real quick. Hi, Cabbage. How you doing? Geese.
Cabbage.
Ooh, Cabaggio.
Cabbage.
Yeah, there's a
live chat thing popping up.
Dragon Master Dandy Warhol. That's a good name. I like that one. Also, Geese says, "Do you guys remember Mask?"
Mask.
I do.
Yeah.
A bunch of their toys.
Yeah.
I never had the toys.
But I also remember the movie. Was it Barbara Streisand who was in it? Though that was a commercial. But I remember the movie called Mask.
That was
and
Cher.
then
it was with Cher.
That was Cher.
It was Cher.
I love that. That was a great ass movie. That's a fucking awesome movie.
And then there was obviously The Mask, and then there was a cartoon of The Mask.
There was, yep.
And then the Son of the Mask.
And then the Son of the Mask.
We don't talk about that.
And then the Squeakquel.
Oh God, I knew it was coming. That's awesome.
I thankfully have never seen that Jim Carrey mask or any of that stuff. So.
It's actually good. The Jim Carrey
good.
mask is good. It's a genuinely good movie based on a kind of weird Dark Horse comic. Apparently, The Son of the Mask, I've never seen it, is terrible. And it's not terrible in a fun, Torque-like way.
Right.
It's terrible in a, they're trying to make this funny way.
Yeah, early to mid Jim Carrey movies are generally pretty good, I think.
Cable Guy.
No.
The Cable Guy isn't. I don't.
Cable Guy.
I never got the Cable Guy.
The problem with the Cable Guy. The problem with the Cable Guy was that they marketed it as this buddy comedy, and it was actually like a sadistic psychological thriller.
Right.
And it was marketed completely wrong.
Yeah, it was. People were going in with specific expectations,
right?
And then,
they were thinking like it's going to be like Dumb and Dumber, but with Ferris Bueller, and instead they got something completely different.
Well, that's just the thing is Matthew Broderick honestly would probably ruin every single movie he was ever in, you know, other than Bueller. He kind of
War Games, man. War Games.
Okay,
you know
War
what was
Games.
good?
Fine,
There was Biloxi Blues.
Biloxi Blues. He was in that too.
Yeah, that was a good. I thought that was a great film. So
There was one called Out on a Limb, which has the principal from Ferris Bueller in it.
I love him.
I think it has Jennifer Grey in it as well. It might have been a John Hughes movie.
Wow.
But it had Matthew Broderick, Jennifer Grey, the guy who played Principal Rooney. It's
like an all-star cast.
He's just known as Rooney.
And it was done probably maybe about 4 or 5 years after Ferris Bueller. It's not bad as like a family fun kids movie. I get the sense.
I have to see. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, let's be honest here.
Like,
the best movie that had Principal Rooney in it was obviously Howard the Duck.
I like that film. I'm
that
not
movie.
even going to go into it right now. First, I got to mention something else, but whatever.
All right, yeah, let's keep going here.
I have too many things. I'm only going to mention one thing. I have too many things from the 80s and 90s, mostly 80s. But there is a so I love PBS, but it's because I didn't have cable. Didn't have cable. My parents to save money, and also just they were anti-TV. So I didn't have actually TV until middle school. Now there was a black and white TV in the basement that was only supposed to be used for special events. And my dad would like bring it up, plug it in. We're like, yay, we get to watch TV, you know, only a few times a year. But then in middle school, my parents relented. My grandpa gave us like a color TV gift. And so then that changed everything because I would sneak downstairs and watch TV constantly to overcompensate for the fact that I was deprived of it for so many years. But anyway, the key thing is this. If you don't have cable, you watch all the PBS stuff. You watch Telemundo, Univision. You watch even Home Shopping Network, whatever, because that's all that's available to you. And I love this one show on PBS. It was called High Feather, which is a ridiculous name. Had the best. You guys were talking about theme songs. This is what reminded me of it. It has a fantastic theme song. And a million years ago, in the beginning of the internet, like late 90s, I emailed the person who wrote the song because he's doing like Christian music, or I don't know, 20 years ago, he was doing like Christian music. And I said, I'm not an insano person. I love the theme song for that show. This is, remember, before YouTube and all that. So I was like, I love the theme song for the show High Feather. Is there any way you could possibly have a recording of it? I would absolutely love it. But if you don't have a recording, anything you can tell me about what you remember from the process of making those songs or working with PBS, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, the show was a show to promote healthy living. And it was about these kids going to summer camp. And it was, the indigenous people of the Americas themed camp. That's why it's called High Feather. And
that's racist.
Yeah, exactly. So they didn't, it wasn't too offensive on that level, but it was kind of brutal with the folks who were a little bit heavier. And so every character had a different issue. And there was some people who needed to lose weight, and some people were diabetics but weren't eating healthy, and all this stuff. And it was kind of heavy-handed, but I loved it because it was like basically a soap opera for kids that had health themes. And but even if you don't watch the show, the theme song alone is fucking magnificent. And if you die without listening to this theme song, you haven't lived a full life. And last time I checked, I was so happy because someone had uploaded a whole bunch of the episodes. I don't know if they're all still up there. I haven't checked in years, but that's why YouTube is amazing. And they were never commercially released, and I don't know if we're ever going to get good copies of these shows.
Lost forever.
Yeah.
So kind of tied to writing people involved with the show from decades before, I have a similar experience to something kind of like that. It wasn't tied to music. Does anybody remember a show called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There would be a host, and you'd have to they'd present stuff, and you'd have to decide, right?
Yes, and you have to decide, is this real or based on actual
that was
event?
fun. I like that.
So there was an episode that was
wasn't
about
Robert Stack,
boy.
right? I don't know.
It wasn't Robert Stack. Initially, I think in the first season it was James Brolin, whose wife did those
right.
commercials that we were talking about earlier.
Is that Josh Brolin's father?
Yeah.
Yes, it is James Brolin. And then then later it was the guy from Star Trek. I can't remember his name. One of the Star Trek.
Shut up! A Star Trek connection.
It was. I can't. Michael.
Are we talking Next Generation or original series?
It was a Next Generation guy, and it wasn't Patrick Stewart.
Is that the Reading Rainbow guy? I
recognize Michael Frakes or something.
Yeah. Jonathan Frakes, who is of course the what's his face, the right hand man. I don't know the card. But anyway, yes.
Okay, but anyway, so there was go to bed. So there was an episode where a kid gets stuck in a closet, and I would always say at the end of the episode, like, and the kid. So let me give you the story of this episode, just so you see it. So just like, there's a little boy who's being bullied because he believes there's a boogeyman in his closet. It's just like, come on, there's no boogeyman in your closet, Billy. Oh, sure there is. And they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go kick your ass. It's like, I dare you to go in the closet for 5 minutes. All right, I'll do it. Then I'm going to come out and kick your ass. So they close the door of the closet. He's like, help me, give me the fuck, get me out. And they come back, and there's nothing but clothes there. So of course you're watching this, you're like, this is stupid. There's no way the kid went in the closet, supposed to have the boogeyman, and there's nothing but clothes left. This can't be possible. This is absolutely fake. At the end of the episode, true. This is based on an actual event. So I see this, and I'm like, oh my God, what is possible? So I find out the guy who did all the research for this was a guy named Robert Tralins. And I just searched his name and randomly found a guy on the Usenet who's like, I'm author Robert Tralins. I've published 140 books. And he had an email address. So sure enough, I email him, hey, are you the same Robert Tralins who did the research for Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction? And he emails me back like 10 minutes later. It's like, yes. I'm like, I totally have some questions for you. And he's like, yes, this is a story. I got it from this place in Florida. It's in my book, Paranormal This, which you can find on paperback. It was published in 1970 blank. So he basically had me tracking down a whole bunch of his like old cheap paperback books, which at that time were kind of hard to find. Like Amazon didn't have as thorough of a reach in the late 90s as it did. But I actually reached out to the guy who did almost all the research for that. And I thought the show was canceled. And then like 2 years later, it was back on Fox again.
Damn.
So that's the story.
Damn.
I'm disturbed by that story, though. I'm actually a little scared now. I'm not gonna lie. Because it's disturbing.
Dan, that whole story you had, fiction.
Fake stories.
Fake news.
It was just a typo. That's it.
All right, Ope, what would you like to share as your do you remember this gem?
When I was real little, I'm sure everybody remember. I mean, I can't think of anything obscure. I loved Count Duckula a lot when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Danger Mouse.
Yeah, because they were
Nickelodeon.
They were back to back.
Teams.
I love those shows.
Yeah, those were
I never
shows.
wanted to watch them. When I was at my grandma's house who had cable, I wanted to watch You Can't Do That on Television. That was like, and then when that wasn't on, I was like, God damn fucking.
It's the kids sketch show. Yeah, that was a good show too.
It was. It really was.
But, that's not everyone knows.
I was in love with the host. I don't know if she was the host all the years, but there was one of the hosts on there.
Mouse.
Was it the fat girl?
You can't do that on television.
Mouse was hot. The big curly-headed girl.
No, he's talking about the red-headed lady who would be like the nurse, the like lunch lady. That's what he's talking about.
Oh, is that like Barf in a redhead wig?
Yeah.
How about Hey Dude?
Hey Dude.
Hey.
Now that's a drama right there. And Salute Your Shorts.
Oh yes, Salute Your Shorts was good. Yeah.
Josh once admitted to me that his lifetime hero is Budnick.
Well, yeah, of course.
Bobby Budnick.
I would love to be that guy. It's like
you kind of look like him.
Thanks. Get it right or
red hair.
Get it right or pay the price.
There you go. What about Donkey Lips?
Donkey Lips. Yeah. So okay. Good stuff. Good times. I think that we're pretty much right to the end of what we were hoping to get for an hour-long show this week. So honestly, you guys, thank you so much. This has been like amazing conversation this week. I think this has been a lot of fun. I'm going to let you guys do like your final word. If you have anything you'd like to share, any like tidbit of knowledge, any horrifically menacing puns that Dan can think of, now's the time to say them. But before that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening. We've had up to 8 viewers this week. That's pretty good. Hey, that's not bad. And usually overnight we get like 20 or 30. So that's a handful of people that are interested in a fairly
that's good.
In a show that really is very like, I don't know, it's just all over the place. Sometimes it's
It's an open forum.
It is an open forum, but we're not very consistent with it. So it's a lot of fun and it's always a good time. And I don't care if we have any viewers or not. It's usually just good conversation. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. You can always check us out on facebook.com/GameHuggers. And then you can follow me on Twitter @_Joshua Turbo. Don't forget the underscore, as it is the most important underscore in all the internet. So Dan, what's your final word?
Go, baby!
Esteban, what do you got to say?
Please, for the love of God, just listen to the opening credit song to High Feather. That's right, High Feather.
Is that like any relation to Sparkling Feather on the PCFX?
I wish. No.
Make the connection.
Yeah, I will have to forge a connection there.
In one of these weeks, we got to start talking about Le Turbo Doodle, because I swear to you, I was going to talk about that.
We will do that in a future episode.
That should be a themed episode. Like, we should just talk about that.
Like, I have no problem with that.
We should, because
doing them and like what he plans to do like in the future, because a lot of them are really funny. Like,
they're all awesome.
You know what I'd like? I'd like DVD commentary on Le Doodle.
Yeah, listen. So.
Well, if you're gonna do something called Le Turbo Doodle, you need to do one on Fawcett and more.
Oh yeah, and I got that game. Not that I have to buy these games, you know how it is, but I got that from Black Tiger, and yeah. So I have you guys don't even know. I have footage from a year ago that I still have to use, because it's like I have all these pieces of episodes done. But then I'm like, and I'm rethinking things, and it's like just a sad, tortured process. But anyway,
for another time, we need to talk about Le Turbo Doodle, and we need to talk about Henshin Engine as well. Saru,
FX Unit Yuki,
FX Unit Yuki.
Which is not coming out for the PCFX.
Not yet.
That just rolls off the tongue, Saru. What's going on with you? What's your final word?
Other than just working on FX Unit Yuki, not a whole lot. But if you want to find out more about FX Unit Yuki, please visit fxunityuki.com. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/RetroJapan, where we talk about video games on that channel. So
Retro Japan. You still need to upload my Black Hole Assault video.
I do. Had somebody actually like recorded it as like audio files instead of individual like little video clips.
It's not hard to convert them. It's not hard to convert
that whole thing. Black Hole Assault, right?
Yeah.
I've listened to that, and there's a Genesis. No, not Genesis. Sega CD version.
There is a Sega CD version.
It's the same. It's the same recording, I believe.
No, it's not.
Oh, so
okay.
Not?
So the
voice acting. I thought the action scene. They're not the same.
No. So the intro segment. Okay. So I did this in the video. If Saru would just fucking put the thing up,
I'll do it.
I did. Okay. So the Sega CD version has an Americanized version. It's all in English, right? It's this like. Oh my God!
Even the PC Engine one is all in English, though, right?
It is, but it's different. It's funnier. Like it's very, very well done. It's like it's funnier. The thing in the Sega one, they like threw in like what the hell and oh shit, like they threw in stuff like that. But in the PC Engine version, it's just like, haha. At least I have a girlfriend. You know, like what the what? Because it's just like two dudes talking. It's like, what are you doing? Oh, I miss my girlfriend. Oh, I don't have a girlfriend. Well, at least I do. You know, it's like wow, this is way funnier. Like it's just awesome. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, Black Hole Assault on the Sega CD versus the PC Engine CD. They're pretty much the same game, but just weird little differences. And they're both super easy to play because they're pretty much, you know, English anyway. But Opethian, you, my friend, you get to end the show this week because you've spoken so much.
And also, where is Ope again? What country is he in?
I think he's in Florida.
It's a third world country called Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama.
Oh,
geez. Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah. Dan is the fifth Beatle.
Of course.
The walrus.
Josh is a lumberjack.
Yeah.
Esteban. I don't know. I don't know. Something about High Feather.
He's just a handsome High Feather.
And Hobo Maru. Stay hobo, my friend.
Forever hobo.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you for listening and watching. And of course, the 4 men on our panel this week. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. See you guys next time.
Good evening, my friends.